I always think it's fun to talk about the most anticipated movies of the coming year. I always love to also look back and see what was I excited for that turned out to actually be as good as I expected, what turned out to be bad compared to what I was hoping it would be. And even in some cases, I mean, I was looking at my list from last year, literally 3 out of 10 of the movies that I had on my list didn't even come out, which tends to happen. Things get pushed back. So let's get into this year's list. For just a couple of honorable mentions, Saw 11, I would easily put this at the top of my list if I had any confidence that it actually is coming out this year, but I really don't think it is. It just seems like there's a significant amount of production issues, whatever's getting this movie delayed. It's not coming off the ground, it seems, at least anytime soon. So, I just don't have enough confidence in it actually coming out this year to put it on my list. I had it on my list last year, actually, because we were supposed to get it in September 2024, but now we might not even get it in September 2025. If it was for any issues, like they just want more time to get the story right, I would understand that, but it seems to me like it's something deeper, probably worse than that. So, unfortunately, honorable mentions. As well as that, I'm actually kind of excited for the Thunderbolts, the kind of almost anti-Avengers Marvel movie. There's even rumors that it might get retitled to Dark Avengers, which, it would be good for monetary reasons why they would call that. But, I don't know, good group of characters. Trailer looks pretty good. I hope it's good. I want Marvel to be good, but they've just let me down so many times that you're a bit more skeptical. That's why I don't have Captain America 4 on this list, because it seems like that's not shaping up to be very good. But yeah, Thunderbolts. But now, let's get into the list. At number 10, The Monkey. I was really impressed with Osgood Perkins' Longlegs from last year. It was my second favorite movie of the year. It was actually my number 1 for a while, but Terrifier 3 just kind of beat it out. And I'm really excited to see where he goes next. I like the idea of just a new horror director coming in, giving new and original movies. I know this is kind of based on a Stephen King thing, but it's probably mostly original if I had to guess. At the very least, he's going to infuse his unique flavor of filmmaking into it. And if Longlegs is anything to go by, I think it'll turn out pretty damn good. Next up, Jurassic World Rebirth. What can I say? I'm a Jurassic shill. I fucking hated Dominion, unfortunately. That's a movie that I've sat on more, stewed about, and just thought about this really is that bad. I Phantom Menaced a little bit about it after it came out and thought, I still was a bit disappointed. I was like, no, it wasn't that bad. We still got great interactions between the old cast and the new cast, stuff like that. Does not save the movie. The movie was terrible. It was destroyed. So hopefully the direction David kept having, this script that they had demanded, does not get changed. That all shapes up to be promising. If they have that much faith in the script, that it shouldn't be changed no matter what, that reads to me like they have a lot of confidence that this will be a good Jurassic movie. That's all you could ask for. As a Jurassic Park fan, I'm always there day one. I love Jurassic Park. Next up, The Running Man. I actually just rewatched the original Running Man a few weeks back. I really enjoy that movie. But the idea of Edgar Wright putting his own unique spin on The Running Man and using Glenn Powell as the main star, that sounds just like a match made in heaven for me. I'm hoping they pull it off. Edgar Wright's a great director. Between Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, World's End, he's done a lot of great stuff. Baby Driver. He pretty much has a near 100% hit rate as far as his movies go. I mean, I just know even if it is bad, it'll at the very least be interesting. It's never going to be anything boring, generic. That just isn't how he rolls. So at the very least, I have faith that that will be the case, that we will get something interesting out of this. But I don't think it will be, because it's Edgar Wright. Glenn Powell's rising pretty quickly. I think that he's a really great new star. Perfect as this action lead, filling in for Arnold Schwarzenegger's character. I don't know too much about the original source material with the book. I've just been a fan of the movie for a long time. But however they choose to do it, I'm there. I'm interested. Up next, this movie we're actually getting in about a week or two, The Wolfman. I grew up being very much a fan of these Universal monsters. I had the box sets with Frankenstein, Wolfman, Dracula, rewatching all those movies, watching, like Frankenstein meets Wolfman, stuff like that. I'd even credit that as being kind of the genesis of me being a horror fan. So the fact that we're getting these really cool, revamped versions of these stories, these characters, we just got Nosferatu, which was awesome. We're getting a new Frankenstein movie from Guillermo del Toro. The fact that people are taking these things seriously, and Leigh Whannell's just been on a roll. He's pretty awesome. He pretty easily directed the best Insidious sequel. Not that the others are a whole lot to kind of compare to, but Easily made the best Insidious sequel. Upgrade is awesome and underrated. The Invisible Man was such a sick way of doing the Invisible Man in modern times. And I feel like he's going to do the same thing with the Wolfman. Take this story, this character, and reintroduce him to modern audiences in an interesting and cool way with great suspense, great scares. Just apply that Invisible Man formula to that. Actually, the Wolfman was on my list last year because we thought we'd be getting it. I think it was supposed to come out the same day as Terrifier 3, but then ended up shuffling to January this year. So now we're finally getting Wolfman. It's on my list for this year too. Although I'm a little disappointed that Ryan Gosling didn't ultimately get the role of the Wolfman for his scheduling purposes or whatever. Don't really care. The creatives behind this movie totally have me on board. Very excited to check out this movie. I'll let you guys know what I think in about a week or two. Now, next up, Final Destination Bloodlines. This is a franchise that I've been wanting desperately to come back for years. I grew up on these Final Destination movies, I think like a lot of other people around my age. I'm a 1999 kid. This is very much an early 2000s franchise. I just remember watching these on TV, catching them for the first time, seeing Final Destination 2 on TV, which would play all the time. To this day, I still don't want to drive behind a logging truck because of that movie. And it's been 14 years since we had a Final Destination movie. It's kind of crazy that at this point, because I remember when they were coming out. I remember when the fourth one came out, when the fifth one came out. I remember getting the fifth one on DVD when it came out. And it's just weird that it's been well over half my life at this point since we've gotten a new one. I even remember back in the day, like following all this stuff on IMDb and the internet and stuff, like on my family computer, and seeing that Tony Todd was announcing that Final Destination 6 and 7 were going to be shot back to back. But I guess 5 didn't do nearly as well, so it ended up getting canceled despite, I would say the fifth one's the best actually. Either way, I'm just happy to get this franchise back, see what new can be brought to it. It's been such a long time that they definitely have a fresh idea to this. Whatever it is, I'm there day one. From there, continuing on the list, Karate Kid Legends, the big crossover we've all been waiting for. But in all seriousness, I'm a huge fan of the Karate Kid movies. Cobra Kai really has just given this franchise the shot in the arm to bring it to new audiences. It really has done a good job of making new audiences become very much familiar with this property, with these characters. And what I think is so cool about Karate Kid Legends is that it's merging the 2009 crowd, the 1984 crowd, the remake and the original, getting Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio to be in the same movie, kind of using their different styles of karate and kung fu. Even just that setup alone gets me interested in the movie. I'm not really sure how it's going to tie into Cobra Kai. I assume it's just probably going to take place a little while after whatever the finale is, whatever it ends up being. I don't think it will have much connective tissue or have Johnny or any of that stuff, but still, it's Karate Kid. I love this franchise. And just seeing where they decide to take Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio's characters, how they make them work together. And even that trailer looks very interesting in its premise alone. So hopefully it turns out being good and not just another cash grab to kind of capitalize on Cobra Kai's popularity as a show. But now getting closer to the bottom of the list with my most anticipated movies, I'm going to have to go with Fantastic Four. A lot of people don't like the previous Fantastic Four movies, but I have a good amount of fanfare with them. I grew up with the first two, Rise of the Silver Surfer and the 2005 movie, big part of my childhood. And overall, I just find these characters to be ones that have been really overlooked, mainly because of the way that they've been treated in movies. They kind of get written off despite being so important to the Marvel Comics and to these universes, that it would be good to see them done properly in a way that is accessible to the general public, in a way that makes them popular again. I really like to see these characters be popular again. And I also think too, this is going to be one of the few Marvel movies that might succeed on its own merits. Doesn't need nostalgia, doesn't need cameos. If it just makes a great Fantastic Four movie with these characters, I can see it being very successful and popular. That's what I'd love to see, because these characters 100% deserve this. I'd love to see them become important parts of the MCU going forward. Getting down to the top three though, for number 3, it's going to be FNAF 2. I've talked extensively about the FNAF franchise on my channel. The hype surrounding that first movie just could not be matched, and for the most part definitely got what I wanted out of that movie. but I'm also very excited to see where they take things next. It seems like pretty much all of the returning cast is, coming back to play the characters that they did in the first movie, but what I'm hoping for, we're gonna get more flashbacks, more lore. Thing is, I want them to go very lore heavy in this second one. They did do that in the first movie, but I feel like they didn't want to alienate the general audiences, although that movie is very much more for fans rather than a general audience. I think that they could go full hog on this one. They have a younger William Afton cast, so we're definitely going to be getting some of those flashbacks. Hopefully Henry, Emily, or whoever the stand-in is for that character. I just want to get more of that backstory. I hope that they actually fully show all of it. That would just be really cool. I'd be very happy to see that, and it's looking like we probably will. So for that reason, FNAF 2. But now getting to my second place spot, 28 years later. This is another one of those horror sequels that's been long awaited for me. I've heard rumblings of a third 28 Days Later movie for years. We've heard that Danny Boyle has been interested in coming back for years, that Alex Garland's been interested in getting that off the ground. And it almost felt like it was never going to happen, because it felt like every couple years these talks would arise and they would never go anywhere. We would never actually end up seeing anything. It didn't feel like anything was tangibly going to happen until we actually got that trailer, and this movie is 100% happening. We're finally getting it. We're finally getting a third 28 Days Later movie, and I couldn't be more happy to hear it. And that trailer too, it looks awesome. The fact that we got Alex Garland writing again, the fact that we got Danny Boyle back in the director's chair, goes to show that they're putting the full effort and they have full confidence in this movie, to the point where they already shot a second part. That instills the most amount of confidence in me that this is going to be really good, hopefully on par with that first movie. And even that second movie I think is very good, just for different reasons. Maybe not as good as the first movie, but I'm still just so amped to see it. I wasn't sure how it would sell or if it would connect, but it's the second highest viewed horror trailer of all time. What that tells me is the audience is there too. But for number one, probably is no surprise as a DC fan that I have this on my list, and that's Superman. But with that too, that also comes with the highest amount of skepticism, because so much rides on this movie. If it fails, you could probably say goodbye to anything DC that isn't Batman for a very long time. But hopefully this is successful. We get a very successful launch to this new DC universe, and we could finally get a DC universe where we have all these characters, they're thriving, they exist in the same world. I would just love to see that. And even beyond that, I want it to be just a solid Superman movie. I'm excited for that by itself. Forget the rest of the universe, forget all that stuff. I just want a solid Superman movie that I can rewatch and enjoy. Something like, Man of Steel, where I still watch that movie to this day. It still sticks with me, resonates with me. All I want is to feel that again with this new Superman. I've been wanting a new solo Superman movie for years. I really was hoping we would get that Man of Steel 2 with Henry Cavill, and as heartbroken as I am to see that we're not going to get that, I'm still rooting for this movie, and I want nothing but the best for it. So hopefully it's successful, makes a new audience get invested in Superman, and it would be great if this is the beginning of a long-running franchise. But those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I'd love to hear what are your most anticipated movies of 2025. I'm GM Light. Have a good one.